There's a moment in every person's life where the world tries to see what you're made of. It comes as pressure, as chaos, as fear, as uncertainty. And most people look at those moments and think, life is attacking me. But the storm isn't here to break you. It's actually here to reveal the part of you that cannot be broken. Because it's in those moments that God, life, consciousness is giving you the same opportunity the great mystics discovered, the chance to become untouchable. Not numb, not disconnected, not armored in hardness, but so grounded in who you are that the world can shake and you stay solid. That's what we're going to unlock inside of you in today's episode of A Changed Mind. All right, guys, what does it mean to become untouchable, to become uneffable with, to be able to be unperturbed, unbothered by your external circumstances? Wouldn't that be an amazing thing if no matter what happened in your day, in your life, you were unshaken? Now, this isn't about being the tough guy in the room. This is not some sort of Navy SEAL mentality. This is actually a spiritual possibility. One of my favorite quotes is from an Indian saint named Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote a book that really impacted my life called Autobiography of a Yogi. And in it, he says, the true yogi stands unshaken amidst the crashing of breaking worlds. Now that's a pretty powerful thing, right? Imagine two planets coming together and you're on one of them and you're completely unbothered by the fact that these planets are being destroyed, right? That's an emotional resiliency that we all aspire to, but is actually something that we can achieve. And we can achieve it as a byproduct of the fear that we are experiencing out there in the world today. We're actually being called to a higher level of unshakability, of spiritual awareness, as a result of the friction in today's world. Everything from the fear of inflation to the fear of this political party or that political party, or the fear of financial insecurity, or the fear of AI, that AI is going to kill us, or the fear that we're not good enough, or the fear that we're going to be abandoned. All of these external fears are designed to build our spiritual muscle so that we too can stand unshaken like the yogi. There's lots of opportunity to be afraid right now. But what's important to understand is that the enemy isn't on the outside, it's on the inside. Because these things outside of us that are creating fear on a day-to-day basis within our own individual lives, and when we turn on the news and we see what's going on in the world, the enemy is not on the outside, the enemy is on the inside. The enemy is the subconscious mind, is the unmetabolized fear that you still hold in your nervous system that was something that you learned at a very early age. It was passed to you from your parents. It was these belief systems, these traumas that came down through generations of your family, that have come down through generations of civilization. But this same fear, if we understand how to work with it, is the same mechanism that allows us to stand unshaken amidst the crashing of breaking worlds. Don't you want that? Don't you want to become imperturbable, unshakable? And as I mentioned, this isn't something about being strong or being the tough guy in the room. It's about being resolute, being resolved, being committed. Committed to what? Well, it's committed to knowing the truth that life is loving, and that life or reality as it expresses itself around you is always working for your greatest growth, your greatest prosperity, and your greatest evolution. No matter what's showing up in the moment, the chronic health condition, the bank account that doesn't have enough money in it, the argument with your spouse, getting the pink slip, I don't know if they do that anymore, but getting fired from work. These are all ways that life is working to shepherd you into your full potential. And we can learn to manage this fear in a way that allows us to be immovable amongst what feels like the day-to-day chaos of our lives. And when we do that, we become the dominant vibration in our reality, and we start to create the reality that we desire around us. So life is always working for you. The truth is that life is loving, but you say, Dave, I can see reality. I can see the risk and the threats out there. I can see that there are people who are homeless on the street. I might end up like one of them. I was one of them at one other point in time. I can feel in my body that there's a condition that I'm experiencing. The doctors say it's very serious. I can see the absence of the financial prosperity in my bank account. I can see that there are people who are losing their lives out there in the world in war-torn parts of the world. How can you say that I can be unshakable, immovable, imperturbable? And I would say two things there. Number one, you cannot see someone else's mindset. You don't know what is happening inside someone else. And remember, the enemy is not external. The enemy is internal. The enemy is the fear, the limiting beliefs, the doubts that have not been properly processed and integrated. And most people are living in fear. Most people have fear of financial insecurity, so most people are not living in financial abundance. You can't see what someone's mindset is. So you have to understand that what you see people experiencing out there is not a byproduct of what might get you out there. It's a byproduct of their thinking. So you can't read someone else's inner world, and they're experiencing an external reality that is a byproduct of their inner belief system. We can pray for them. We can have compassion for them. We can even commit ourselves in our reality to supporting those who are struggling in their own lives as a result of one thing, make no mistake, what's going on inside of their head. So that's not to say that we're not loving and we're not compassionate, but understand that, and the Bible says this in a lot of different ways, to each his own, as it is due, based on your mindset. Your life shall be according to what it is that you believe and what you think. This is not some sort of new age metaphysical cliche. These are fundamental just laws that govern the universe and govern reality. You get exactly in your life the balance of what you think. And then you say, but Dave, what about whole nations of people? Like, look at what happened in the Holocaust. Look at what's happening today in Gaza. You're telling me everybody believed a particular way, and so they're now susceptible to experiencing the enemy in their external world as a result of allowing it in to their subconscious mind? And my answer would be, and you may not like this, that's their reality, not yours. If that is your reality, then we can talk about it. And we can take a look at it. And we can see what it is that you believe. And we can see how your external reality might be a byproduct or a materialization of your inner world. And by the way, this is tricky because it's not just your beliefs from this life, but it's beliefs you carry from past lives. That's what people talk about karma. And yes, there's cultural karma. And we don't wish that upon anyone, but the process of evolution and the process of incarnation is the process of clearing ourselves of individual and cultural karma and belief systems. But what I would say is, don't worry about what other people are experiencing as it relates to the potential threat that you would take upon yourself. If that's not your reality, stop using what you see someone else suffering or struggling with as a reason to justify it for yourself. If you're not homeless, don't use the fact that other people are homeless to justify the potential of you being homeless. That's not your reality. So yes, we create our own realities. And if you are not creating something that you're seeing someone else experiencing, stop worrying it upon yourself. Again, that doesn't mean that we're not loving, we don't hold compassion, we don't have whatever it is, Christian, Islamic, Judaic values that allow you to be compassionate for someone else's experience and try to support them in the best way that you can and to care for your fellow brothers and sisters, other human beings on this planet. But don't take it upon yourself. It's amazing to me as I work with entrepreneurs and I'm teaching them how to become unshakable, how to become imperturbable, unbotherable, and they'll say, yeah, but look what other people are experiencing. Yeah, but is that your experience? If it's not your experience, don't take it upon yourself right now. Hey, it's David. Quick announcement before we get back to your episode. Our annual event, the Powerful Living Experience, is coming up. There's a link in the show notes, or you can visit powerfullivingexperience.com. Check out the video of last year's event. We're going to be bringing together 1,000 impact-driven entrepreneurs, leaders, and game changers to spend 3 days doing what matters most. Going really, really deep on identifying the limiting beliefs and subconscious programs that are still preventing you from your full potential and going through deep experientials and trainings and transforming them. We're also going to be getting into concepts like wealth creation, purpose, greatness, money, relationships, health. And if you're an entrepreneur, we're going to be spending about 20% of that event opening up my business playbook, the same strategies and tactics and techniques that we use to go from $0 to $30 million in an impact-driven business while spending 90% of my time doing what I love. There's nothing like the Powerful Living Experience. Inc. named it a top 3 must-attend personal development event for entrepreneurs and leaders, and I want to see you there. We've got some discounted tickets right now, plus some additional bonuses. Again, all the information is in the link in the show notes, or you can jump on over to powerfullivingexperience.com, get registered, and I will plan on seeing you there along with 1,000 other impact-driven, incredible members of our community for 3 days that you will never forget. And now, back to your regularly scheduled episode. There's this story that I love in mythology of Orpheus and Eurydice. And the story is that Eurydice was beautiful, and Hades, who rules the underworld, falls in love with Eurydice and steals her into the underworld. So Orpheus, being the the Greek hero that he is, goes down into the underworld and attempts to rescue Eurydice. So Hades makes him a deal. Hades says, look, you can go back up to the living worlds, but you're going to lead, Eurydice is going to follow you, and you cannot look back on Eurydice. If you look back on Eurydice, the deal is she'll stay here in the underworld for eternity with me. Orpheus is like, no problem. So he and Eurydice head out. He's leading, she's following. And as he's heading back up to the living worlds, he hears all these screams and horrible sounds and monsters and Eurydice yelling and gnashing of teeth. It sounds like she's just being eaten alive. So he's almost back up to the living world and he cannot help himself. He turns around to make sure his beloved Eurydice is okay. And she's right behind him. No monsters, no threats, but because he turned around, poof, she disappears and she spends eternity with Hades in the underworld. There's all kinds of illusions of monsters and gnashing of teeth and threats that are out there in the world. The Orphean illusion, do not pay attention to them. That is not your reality. Again, it doesn't mean that you're not loving and you're not compassionate, but that is not your reality. You must ignore the sounds and the threats and the fears that you see in the external world. You cannot pay attention to the illusions. You have to manage your mind. So how do we do that? I have a very simple 3-step process. As I go through my day, I notice whether I'm in what I would call a powerful state or a primal state. Powerful state means I feel good. Primal state means I don't. And whenever I don't feel good, it's some form of fear. Very simple, very binary, very useful, because it's not always easy to catch your thoughts, but you can notice how you feel. Do I feel good or do I feel bad? If you feel bad, you are in fear 100% of the time. And so if I'm in fear, I realize that the enemy is not outside of me, the enemy is inside of me. I take a look at what is it I'm thinking. I'm engaging with the enemy right now. The old programs of my subconscious mind, the familial trauma that's been passed down from generation to generation. So what is it that I'm thinking? And I know it's an illusion. It's an Orphean illusion. Now my job is to see through it. So I identify what it is that I'm thinking. I'm thinking I don't have enough time. I'm thinking that, oh my God, there's going to be a financial collapse. I'm thinking that I'm not good enough. I'm thinking that I should or shouldn't have said something. I'm judging someone else. Whatever it is that I'm thinking that's moving me into a primal state, some form of fear, I identify it. That's step 2. Really simple. What is it you're thinking? Because it is not the external circumstances that are causing you to be afraid. It is your inner world. What is it that you're thinking? Step 1, am I afraid? Step 2, what is it I'm thinking? And then I know it's an illusion and I have to see through it. So I ask myself a very simple question. If this is not true, what is some form of the opposite that could be true? If I'm afraid that I'm not going to have enough money, what's some form of the opposite? Well, that I live in a time where there's more financial prosperity and abundance than ever before. That there's more forms of money and forms of currency than ever before. Shit, my government is printing more dollars. It's like living in one of those booths on those old game shows where there's dollars flying around in a booth and you get to grab as many of them as possible. That's what's real right now. It's not that I don't have enough money or there isn't enough money out there. It's just that I've been living in so much fear that I haven't been grabbing the dollars that are in the booth. So what evidence do I have for the fact that this is true? Right? That I'm not good enough. That's my fear. That's why I'm moving into a primal state. That's the enemy. What's true? That I'm perfect just the way that I am. I mean, look, man, everybody's on their own journey. I came here to learn some stuff, and I learned it through my addiction, through my recovery. I learned it through my 2 homes in foreclosure. I learned it by having way too much credit card debt, not enough money in my bank account. I learned that I wanted money and that I was going to have money and that money was my birthright. That's what I learned, right? What evidence do I have for the fact that this is true? That it's not that I'm not good enough. I'm perfect just the way I am, and I'm on my journey according to my own timing. So I have to notice when I move into fear, I need to look at the cause of the fear, which is internal, not external, and I have to see through the illusion. I have to say, hey, if this is the illusion, then some form of the opposite must be true. What evidence can I find in my reality that this new decision is true? Shift my reality. Exercise the demons, right? This is the way that we become spiritually stronger. The inner demons are there to make you stronger, to help you build emotional, psychological, spiritual resilience. It's like going to the gym. You go and you lift the weights. It's resistance. But the more reps you do, the stronger you become. So there's nothing wrong with you if you're having negative fear-based thoughts. There's nothing wrong with you if they're materializing into the experiences of your life. You can transform your reality by changing the way that you think. And the way that we do that is we get into the spiritual gym. That's what this external reality is doing for us right now. There's a beautiful quote in scripture. It's in Romans. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You don't have to stick with the fear-based reality that you've created. You can transform your own personal reality by changing the way that you think, building spiritual muscle. I love the passage in the Bible where the shepherd boy David stands up against Goliath. If you go back and read that passage, he stands with such conviction, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but he's standing against the mightiest warrior in the Philistine army, right? This massive warrior with armor, and he's this shepherd boy with a loincloth and a sling. But he knows what good is. He knows that good is his only reality. He knows that God is his only reality, and he knows who he is. He knows that the external is not the enemy. The internal doubt is the enemy, and he has no doubt. He says, today, all of the world will know that there is a good, that there is God here in Israel. And he slays the Goliath. You have the opportunity to slay all of the Goliaths in your life right now. But in order to do that, you have to train your mind to stand unshaken amidst the crashing of breaking worlds. You have to start treating mindset like your life depends on it, because it does. Because when you can stand against the Goliaths of your life, unafraid, because you know that they are an Orphean illusion, and that the only problem is the doubt that exists inside of you, when you learn to overcome that doubt through this resistance training, the kingdom becomes yours. You create your own personal kingdom. But you have to elevate yourself into someone who can manage the kingdom, someone who can hold the kingdom, right? The king or the queen that can rule over your personal kingdom. And this is the king and queen making process. You treat your mindset like your life depends upon it, because it does. You don't escape the world by withdrawing from it. You transcend it by becoming the one who cannot be moved. This is the opportunity. And man, I don't think there's any better game to play. I don't think there's any better game to play. And we now know how to play it. The crazy thing is, it's this thing called personal growth. Who would have ever thought that personal growth or mindset was actually the key to unlocking everything that you want in your life, to dissolving your problems, to stepping into your full potential. And as we do it individually, changing our lives, and as we do it collectively, transforming the world. I mean, the first personal development seminar I went to, I never thought, oh, this is the technology that's going to change the world. Guess what? It's not AI. It's not artificial intelligence. It's actual intelligence. And so this is the game that we're invited to play. Right? All the chaos you see out there is just reflective of the chaos we hold inside of ourselves. As we learn to manage ourselves more effectively, the chaos must organize into order. It must organize into order. And you have the opportunity to do that, not by trying to manipulate your external circumstances, but by managing your inner world. So man, I hope this episode has been helpful for you. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. If you've got questions or comments, you're following along on YouTube, drop them in the comment box. If you haven't yet, whether you're listening on audio or on the YouTube platform, subscribe. We love that. Thank you so much. That's like our free payment for me and my team. Thank you. And if you think someone needs to hear this episode, pay it forward and share it with them. So this is not a do-it-yourself project. This is something that we do together. And if you want to be a part of our community, jump on over to davidbear.com, subscribe to our newsletter. You're going to get immediately a 4-part video series that goes even deeper on the technology that's going to allow you to be unshakable and immovable in your life. And if you feel so inspired, go a little bit deeper with one of our flagship programs. So I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next episode.